Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian. I have on the line with me my colleague Isaac. We are both product managers in the ServiceNow ITSM BU, and we are also both focused on the generative AI, agentic AI technology stack, also known as Now Assist for ITSM. Today, we are very excited to speak with you all to hopefully get you guys started or at least progress you guys along the generative AI journey. The main goal of today is to actually help you guys turn on several of the service desk agent facing generative AI capabilities, as well as some of the agentic workflows that we recently launched as part of the May release in ServiceNow. Isaac, can you move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, we can skip ahead. So a quick agenda overview. We're going to go through a few slides. We're gonna try and get through them quickly and as efficiently as possible because the next section is where all the meat is. We are going to walk you through how to turn on incident summarization, resolution note generation, and then we're also going to have you turn on the new triage and categorize and the investigate and resolve agentic workflows. If we have time, we're also going to have you or walk you through how to build your own agentic workflow. We'll wrap it up with the roadmap and next steps post this webinar in terms of support. Awesome. You can flash the safe harbor, please. Thank you very much. So safe harbor, if we are talking about any forward-looking statements or features that are planned, please do note that our plans do change. This is a very fluid environment that we're working with, fluid technology that we're working with generative AI. So any details around future features, just keep note that things can change. Awesome, thank you. Go ahead, Isaac, I'll let you take it off.
So right here's our mission statement. Now Assist for ITSM. What is it all about? We want to increase self-service and IT productivity and give exceptional end user experiences. So that's the major theme that you're going to see here today in the technology. And to talk about a virtuous loop, in simple terms, our technology for Now Assist, one good thing leads to another, and then it loop backs to make the first thing even better. So just constant self-improvement. And in seeing all that went into creating the virtuous loop, I want to reinforce that most of the components needed to jumpstart this can be turned on virtually overnight. And the value this creates, it stems from the individual steps, but then it goes much farther. It grows exponentially with time. So you can see here that we're deflecting incidents, we're improving service desk efficiency, and we're boosting the service resilience. This virtuous loop gives us the outcome where productivity is constantly increasing across your organization. Now, ServiceNow for self-service. Let's talk about this. Having a customer-first mindset means that our solutions are designed to elevate the experience for end users, and it's also relieving pressure on the IT teams at the same time. So with Now Assist for ITSM, we're delivering efficiency and combining world-class self-service with this IA-powered speed and intelligence. We want to give context. We want to give accurate answers. We want Now Assist deflection to go after more incidents before they even reach the service desk. This frees up the agents to focus on high value work. It also leads to happy end users that are having a good experience. And so delivering that better experience, these end users are going to interact naturally through conversational catalogs, receiving LLM generated answers, and then the access to dynamically generated topics is going to be tailored to their needs. This is an intuitive, modern experience. And achieving fast time to value with out-of-the-box skills, we're going to show some of those today, Pre-trained models and agents, we're going to show those today. They work with your existing data, and you'll also see how quickly you can deploy them and see values in minutes, not months. So increasing self-service, how is that going to, the technology going to help your end users? So for agent productivity, it's not just about self-service. We want to talk about the agents and the work that they're doing, the capabilities that face them. It's going to help them streamline the incident resolution process from start to finish. At key moments in the agent workflow, Now Assist is going to provide relevant context, generate content, and surface the right answers. This is all meant to do its work without disruption of the flow and improve the service quality. So agents will be able to deliver better, faster support, less time spent hunting for information, and less time piecing together context. And reducing mean time to resolution with the recommendations that we generate, we're pulling from similar past incidents. Agents are going to get to the resolutions faster and more reliably, and the better experience. And that goes to whether it's summarizing an incident, drafting resolution notes, or even generating and creating a knowledge article for them afterwards. We're meeting the agent at the right moment, giving them what they need at the right moment, and this reduces friction and boosts confidence in your service desk. Now, service resilience, we're raising the bar here. We want to make it easier for IT teams to prevent issues, respond faster, and operate with more confidence. And here's how it comes to life for your service resilience operations. Your change creators, your developers, they get AI-powered guidance to craft higher quality change requests. And at the same time, change managers gain instant insight into risk and impact, and helping ensure that changes strengthen, not compromise, your service reliability. So reinforcing that service quality is something that Now Assist will be providing. The experience for every role, so it's not just for developers. We've got change managers, problem managers, major incident managers, all experiencing better time to value with the product. It's enhancing productivity for all of them across those teams, and automating routine tasks and surfacing insights when and where they are needed is something all of those roles will be experiencing. And fast time to value, just like you'll see from Now Assist across the board, it's really easy to get started. So we're going to bring up a poll here after talking about those different aspects of Now Assist. Thank you, Brian. And if you wouldn't mind answering, which use cases for agentic AI and AI agents do you care about the most? So hopefully those definitions we gave helped you understand what we're looking for here.
All right, we'll give it another 15, 20 seconds, and then let's move on to the next slide, please, Isaac. Awesome, looking pretty good in terms of responses.
I think we got them, Brian.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let me end this poll. Thank you very much. We definitely appreciate this feedback. It will help us, it'll help guide us in terms of where we take the product. Okay, next slide, please, Isaac. So earlier this year, we launched the next iteration of generative AI technology, also known as AI agents. So at ServiceNow, we are actually knitting one or more AI agent together to create what we call a system of AI agents or an agentic workflow. You can think of these more as digital teammates that are designed to autonomously complete knowledge work. So they are able to interact directly with systems, with data, and actually take action, not just surface insights. From a CIO perspective, this means that you're not only empowering your people with better tools, but you're also extending your workforce with more intelligent agents that can do things like triaging, resolving incidents, generating content, and automating outcomes across your entire organizations. The best part is these agents, these AI agents, can work directly with humans and they'll be able to continuously learn from context to improve their speed, accuracy, and consistency. So Isaac, next slide, please. So how does this all work, right? So as I mentioned before, we've introduced agentic workflows. These are intelligent AI-driven processes powered by one or more AI agents. Actually, you can just click through the whole slide, please, Isaac. That can be initiated by these are intelligent AI-driven processes that consist of a team of one or more AI agents. And the way it works is when a agentic workflow is triggered, either automatically or manually by a human, an AI agent orchestrator will step in. What this orchestrator does is that it uses reasoning. We use our LLM model to do that, to understand what the user's intent is, formulate a plan to address the user's prompt, and then actually execute the plan by invoking what we call worker agents, what you see right in the middle of that screen there. So the AI orchestrator will be able to intuitively understand, okay, which worker agent should I invoke to achieve the user's ask, right? Each worker agent will then have a set of tools to complete a specific task it was given to do. So maybe it's like writing into a record or searching the knowledge base or looking through the catalog, right? So each AI agent has a specialized role, and the AI agent orchestrator will understand which AI agent it needs to deploy to complete the user's request. Next slide, please, Isaac. So to date, this is our collection of out-of-the-box AI agents or agentic workflows. We have 6 of them, and all of them currently today are looking to improve service desk productivity. So your service desk agents will be able to leverage any of these 6 agentic workflows to get work done faster. I'll go through them very quickly, but I do want to highlight that on the bottom left corner, you see the triage and categorize ITSM incidents and the investigate and resolve ITSM incidents. Those 2 are our most popular ones, and those 2 will be the ones that I'm actually going to walk you through how to turn on, how to configure, and hopefully get you using them in at least a subprod or lower environment. So at a very high level, we'll start with a triage. Basically, this will be able to autonomously set the subcategory, category, CI fields, and it will also link an incident record to any active related major incident or problem. Now, the next step in that is obviously trying to resolve that incident. So that's where the investigate and resolve ITSM incidents agentic workflow can help. It will look through the catalog, it will comb through the knowledge base, and it will also look at past similar incidents to generate a plan to resolve the user's issue. It will present this plan to the service desk agent, saving him a whole bunch of time. He doesn't need to go look through various resources. He doesn't need to piece together information. He has that plan at his fingertips, and he can just go and execute it, right? So I'm going to shift to the top right, the Manage O365 groups. So this is a somewhat specialized incident resolver use case. You know, we see a lot of incidents from our customers related to managing Office 365 groups. So we've created a dedicated agentic workflow that can complete that entire workflow for you automatically. On the bottom, let's talk about the generate change request plans. We found that creating detailed, high quality change requests can be a very time consuming task. And so we've created this agentic workflow that can not only generate a implementation plan, test plan, backup plan, it will also do the justification for the risk, so for the change, and also the risk and impact analyses for the change. So we'll actually fill up the entire planning section for you. Really, really handy feature. So on the far right, on the bottom far right, we have generate post-incident review. Again, this is a somewhat time-consuming task, and we're trying to alleviate that for our service desk agents. So what this will do is after a major incident is resolved, it will look through the entire record and it will generate a high-quality, comprehensive post-incident report. That way, all your stakeholders can get timely communication around what happened, what was impacted, how was it resolved, and everybody could huddle together and understand, okay, how do we prevent this from happening again? How do we prevent a future outage, for example? The last one I'll talk about is on the far left upper corner. So notify users with Twilio. This really is aimed at helping the service desk swarm around a particular issue. So let's say a agent gets an incident and he needs someone else to either help out or work on it, take a look at it. So now we can use the notify users with Twilio agentic workflow to directly message whatever user that is in the ServiceNow platform. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please, Isaac. And we're actually going to do a poll. So let me see if I can share that right now.
I'll answer, Brian.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about the 6 agentic workflows that we have today that are out of the box. Once again, they are all service desk facing. But we want to ask you guys, hey, are there any specific use cases, whether it's service desk facing, whether it's employee facing, right? Any workflows that you feel a AI agent or agentic workflow would be highly valuable to your organization, right? So we'll give this maybe 30 seconds and then we can move on and I'll hand it back over to you, Isaac. Oh, actually, I still have one slide, Isaac. So
Okay.
I'll do the
I'll
next
keep the
slide and then
poll
I'll
up.
hand it over to you. Cool. So we are now going to get into the demo and configuration. So I'm hoping a lot of you have done the pre-work, which was to come with an instance ready. And let's talk about the next slide, Isaac. So a little convoluted, but let me walk you through what's happening right now. We are very much hoping that you came with an instance ready. If you are on Vancouver patch 7 and above, you will be able to follow along with what Isaac is doing as long as you are an admin. So Isaac is going to walk you through how to turn on incident summarization and also resolution note generation. Afterwards, I will walk you guys through how to turn on AI agents. So the minimum version for that is you need to be on Xanadu patch 7 or any of the Yokohama patches. If you don't have an instance that has these plugins, or sorry, has these are not on these family versions, or you don't have these plugins installed, don't worry, you can still get value from what we're going to talk about. We will share this recording with you afterwards, and you can always come back when you're ready to take a look and try and follow along that way. Okay, I'll hand it over to you, Isaac.
Hey, awesome. Thank you. That's great. We have some good answers back in our poll. Let me transition over here to an instance. A couple things about this this next step we're going to walk you through, and we're going to set it at a pace where if you're following along, you can activate all of these skills at the same time. And I'll give everybody a minute to log into their instance if this is how you're using this particular webinar. And we're going to look for what we call our admin center. So Now Assist admin is where we're going to start. If it's not one of your favorites, you can go ahead and type Now Assist admin, and you'll see the result listed out for you there. So hopefully that's given everyone time to log in and get placed into the instance where you need to be. I'll give a brief overview. The Now Assist admin consists of these 5 tabs across the top here. We've got an overview, Now Assist skills, which is where we're going to be doing our configuration today, experiences, analytics, and settings. So the overview is telling you what plugins you have that you're entitled to. So right now I have, for instance, Now Assist for security operations. I'm entitled to that, but I have not installed it. The Now Assist summary gives a lot of that same information. What have you installed? But then also the skill status. How many of the out of the box Now Assist skills have you activated, and how many of them have not been started? So this is a really good place to check to see new information that comes out and new skills that you may be interested in activating. We do have a checklist. We're pretty much going through much of that checklist today, so feel free to look at that checklist on your own time. And then skill usage, how many of your users are triggering these skills, and over time, where are they triggering it from? So the Now Assist panel, virtual agent, or inside the product. For anybody that's brand new to the Now Assist experience, this is the Now Assist panel, this kind of twinkle up here. So if you tap on that, you can also pin it out to the side. And this will help you as you look through your particular incidents, things along those lines, and it'll give you an idea of what you're able to do with the Now Assist panel. I'm going to pin it at some point later, but if you'd like, you can keep it there for yourself, and it'll be a constant passenger as you go through the rest of the setup. So we'll start with Now Assist skills. And underneath the technology section, you see each of the different BUs, business units, being represented. So the platform also has skill sets, and we're going to focus on ITSM. So let's click on your ITSM, and we're going to go over activating our first skill. Our first skill is a 2-for-1. It's going to be incident summarization with attachment summarization. So what I want to say is the best way to look at skills is this button right here, your list layout. When I first started on the team and Brian showed this to me, I was very happy. So I like the list layout, and it's a much more succinct view of your skills, what's active, or in this case here, active, and what's deactivated, and you can look through it that way. What I really want everybody to remember at this stage, let's talk about suggested steps. Skills work in a way that you can only have one version of that skill active at a time. What's really nice, let's look at incident summarization. You see, I've made copies of it, but these are inactive. This one here, incident summarization, I've made a copy of it. This one is active. So that is by design. The product will require that for you. Here's the out of the box skill, incident summarization. It does have that flag for out of the box. And what you can do, however you feel comfortable in this lab, you can certainly activate the baseline skill, or you can make a copy. So today we are going to start by making a copy. If you'd like to just work with the out of the box incident summarization, that's fine. Just know, again, only one can be active at a time. So let's start by making a copy of incident summarization. And it should launch into a wizard where the first thing we need to do is name it. I think I'll just kind of pause here, and if there's anybody that wants to give a reaction to that you're okay, or maybe that you need us to slow down, let us know how we're doing here. But please absolutely use those reactions. Thank you so much. That really helps us know if we're going at the right speed. Let's rename our incident summarization. You can choose whatever name you like. My June 12th workshop. The brief description is important, just so that way you know, especially if you've named it or renamed it something quite different, you probably do want to keep that description to reference for the future. That homepage, the details, that's all we need at this moment. So let's save and continue. All right. This skill is specific to incidents. So we have one base input table, and that's where it's going to be pulling data from. The rest of these inputs then rely on the different status of this incident that comes in. So you can click through and realize these fields change. The close notes, resolution notes are in that state, but in new, it's a much shorter list because in the assumption is in the new state, those inputs won't be there yet. If you have fields that are required and populated at the point of a new incident being created, do so at this point, include them. So you can put that base input field and maybe, you got a custom field, you can use that, or any other field or field description that you need. These inputs then will be used in a prompt when we want to get some data about that incident. So go through this list, check out new. We've got, of course, short description, priority. Those are all required, but out of the box, we've put work notes and additional comments. Then go to work in progress. Same fields, resolved, adds closed notes and resolution notes, and notice the difference between all of those as you go through them. Feel free to add any of your additional base input fields that you'd like at this time. Underneath the base input field section, we do have a rule condition. So state is closed. That's very important, making sure that we're looking at the right incidents. On the new field, we've got state is new. So you can create new condition sets and create additional information at that time. I'll give everybody a second to kind of wrap that up, look through the rest of the status and input templates. But we do need to make one more configuration before we move on. I did say this skill is a 2-for-1, and that is for the attachment summary. This incident summarization skill will be trained to look at any attachments that have been added. The first generation of this attachment summarization is going to look at PNG and JPEG files. It will continue to go through other file types. Currently, it does not do PDF. PDF is a different function. It's right now it's underneath the virtual agent functionality that it can do PDF analysis. But a lot of times what happens is end users put a screenshot of their issue or information they want the fulfiller to know. So we're going to use a new data source. Make sure you're underneath the input template of new. Let's put new data source, attachment. That's all we need, activity attachment. Go through the rest of the fields, work in progress, all the way to the bottom. We want that new data source to be any attachments that are on this incident. Scroll back up, resolved, add the attachments for its data source, and finally, closed. All right. Give me a thumbs up when everybody's been able to add attachment to their skill. Good. So at that point, let's save and continue. Customize prompts. So based on the inputs that we just allowed, and they changed from state to state, we want to choose the sections to include that data in this summarization of the incident. You'll see this screen here for customized prompt. It also has the stages of that record. So underneath new, these boxes aren't checked. At a certain point in time, work in progress especially, you'll expect more information to be in this list. But available prompts, at this point, having it underneath new doesn't make sense. I'm not going to check any of those boxes. Work in progress, you see that the system does then start adding key actions, service level agreement, and affected CIs. You can choose to take those off if you want, but you cannot take key actions taken off. Resolved, resolution at that point is added and put as required, and closed as well. So we're going to leave these as is. Those prompts are pretty good overall. And we'll go ahead and choose a test record. So I've chosen closed. Just go ahead and run a test at this point. You may not get great information back because we're not looking out to see what information is in that incident. But in this case here, we do see we had a pretty good incident that I picked, and it gave us even a resolution, which we can see from the closed state, we required resolution. This incident had a resolution, and it looks good. We're going to save and continue at that point. We basically kept everything out of the box. So how often do you want this skill to be available? You can customize the skill availability. One really good use case is maybe you want the skill to only be available on incidents that were created in the last 30 days. That would be a pretty valid reason to show it under those conditions. So, created, let's see, months. All right, so created on this month, whatever you want to do at that point. We're not going to actually populate that field. I'm going to go to having it always available. But at this point, feel free to customize that skill availability. Saving and continuing it. So how and when will the skill be triggered? Open assign modal during save action. So we're going to leave that trigger on. You'll see an example of another skill that we're going to activate where it makes a little sense for that to be changed, but just go ahead and leave that on for now. And where do we want it displayed, and who do we want it displayed to? So that we want it to show in product desktop, and we do want it to show in the Now Assist panel. If you drop down this arrow here, by default, ITIL roles will be added to both of these, but you can change any more user roles to have access to it. We'll save and continue. This is giving us a review of all of the inputs that we've chosen. And it asks for final confirmation. At the very bottom, let's go ahead and activate. We're going to go into one more. Let's return to ITSM when that screen comes up. We're going to go into one more skill. and that's going to be resolution notes generation. Can I get a thumbs up and let everybody people let me know if you're ready for the resolution notes generation? Okay, looking good. Underneath resolution notes generation, there is a change coming out in our roadmap for Q3 that you can make a copy. You'll notice that's not available at the moment. So look forward to that coming out. But there's another reason I've chosen resolution notes generation as the skill that we're going to showcase. So if you need to activate it, go ahead and click on activate at that time. If you've already activated it, go ahead and click edit. So when we're editing, we've already probably activated most of it. So these boxes are checked. And let's take a look. This is going to be a different workflow from the incident summarization and attachment summarization. Here's this example of a trigger that makes pretty good sense. So do we want it to be user triggered? Some of our customers are completely fine with resolution notes generation running as soon as that resolve button is clicked. In certain cases, though, they have asked us to add this toggle where now we want the end user to trigger it. We don't necessarily want the resolution notes as soon as you save and resolve. We don't want it to run. So you have the ability to control that. Do you want it to be triggered by the system, or do you want to manually trigger the resolution notes generation? That's up to you. For purposes of today, I'm going to leave that unchecked. That way, the system will just fire off as soon as that resolve button is hit. Choosing input is not as much here. So we've included the input fields that are required for resolution notes generation. Customizing availability. Do we only want it to run on incidents at a certain time or have it always available? Let's leave it always available. The display. So there is now starting to see, okay, well, that was from the first skill. So some repetitive steps, and you'll start getting used to seeing the certain requirements here. So we're going to leave it at ITIL, leave it on for display on both. And you've got confirmation of all of the fields you've chosen. We'll click done at the bottom. And if you get a prompt to return to ITSM, go ahead and click that. So we've just activated our first 3 skills. Hope that's been useful. We're going to hand this over to Brian now. Before we do so, I do want to run a poll really quickly here. Sorry for the stutter start there, Brian. Okay. We're going to launch one more poll. Thinking about the skills that we just talked about. So these are going to be functionality and functions of AI that your end users can activate for themselves. What would you like to see ServiceNow added to their out-of-the-box functionality? I'm leaving up the out-of-the-box skills on my shared screen. As you go through this, you can see we have chat summarization. Of course, we did incident summarization, chat reply recommendation, sidebar discussion, incident sentiment. This one's new. It's really a cool one. Major incident email content recommendation, knowledge base generation. All right, so there are these skills that are currently built into the skill library. So the question here is asking, when end users have control over turning on a skill, turning off a skill, what else would you like to see in this out-of-the-box library? It could also be a recommendation on an existing one. So like we talked about with resolution notes generation, making a copy of that was previously not something you could do. So is it also a tweak or a refinement to an existing skill, and we're eager to hear what you have to say about that. All right, Brian, I
All
will
right, thanks, Isaac.
stop share.
I'm
Thank you
going
for
to take over
the
the screen.
responses.
All right, so Isaac showed you guys how to turn on 3 of the GenAI skills. What I'm going to do now is actually show you guys how to turn on some of the new agentic workflows. So as a quick reminder, you do need to be on at least Xanadu patch 7 or any of the Yokohama patches in order to have access to agentic workflows. So if you don't have those installed in your instance, don't worry. When you're ready, again, we will be sharing this. So when you're ready, you can come back and rewatch this video. For those of you who do have the right versions, I'm going to walk you through how to do all that right now. So still logged in as admin. And what we're going to do is navigate to the new AI Agent Studio. This is pretty much home base for everything related to AI agents or agentic workflows. Okay. So this is the overview tab of AI Agent Studio. It will show you some of the most popular out-of-the-box or ready-made agentic workflows and AI agents that we've shipped. At the bottom, you can see a list of your recent activity. What we're going to do is we're going to go to create and manage. Okay. Create and manage will take you to the full list of all the out-of-the-box agentic workflows and AI agents, as well as whatever agentic workflow or AI agent that you may have created yourself already. Okay. So make sure we're looking at the agentic workflow tab, and we're going to scroll down to find the investigate and resolve agentic workflow. Investigate and resolve ITSM incidents. One thing I want to point out is that all of our out-of-the-box agentic workflows, you should really think of them as templates. A lot of the configuration options are locked down. And so what we're going to do to open up those configuration options is we are going to duplicate it. Okay, so once you hit duplicate, it will take you to the agentic workflow guided setup. It's pretty straightforward. There are only 3 tabs, and it's actually going to look identical across any of the agentic workflows you might click into. So I just want to explain really quickly what some of these fields do. So we have name and description. These are important to make sure they're relevant. The reason behind that is, let's say you wanted to manually trigger this agentic workflow through the Now Assist panel. You might say something like, help me resolve an incident, right? Help me resolve incident 1, 2, 3, 4. The system will use the name and description to determine whether this agentic workflow can help solve this prompt. Okay? So it's important to have a relevant name and description. Today, I'm going to guide you on pretty much just turning things on out of the box. We do recommend doing that first, playing around with it. And then when you identify areas that could do a little bit better or do something differently, then you can come back and edit these options. So number 1, I do suggest renaming it just so you can keep tabs of what's going on. So 612 test, right? I'll leave the description alone. This agentic workflow enables fulfillers to investigate and resolve ITSM incidents. The workflow would check related catalogs, knowledge articles, and similar resolve incidents to generate resolution steps for the incident. One of the neat things about agentic workflows or AI agents is that all we really need are high-level instructions to tell or teach an agentic workflow on how to complete a task, right? So if you notice, we have 2 steps here. 1, check for a related catalog item, and 2, check for similar incidents and knowledge articles. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we've connected 2 AI agents to this agentic workflow to basically complete these 2 steps of instructions. So find a catalog, AI agent will do check related catalog items. ITSM incident resolution, AI agent will help us do similar incidents and knowledge articles. Okay. So let's move on. No changes here besides updating the name. And let's talk about the triggers. Now, if you remember what I mentioned earlier, there are two ways to trigger an agentic workflow. One is by setting up an automatic trigger. This is what we're looking at right now. Basically, this is saying if an incident state changes to in progress and the assigned to field is not empty, this agentic workflow will be automatically triggered. The second way to trigger a agentic workflow is to manually trigger it through the analysis panel, similar to what I just said, right? Resolve this or help me resolve incident 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll talk more about that when we get to the select display. Okay. So let's open up the trigger. And first things first, I do recommend you update the trigger name. The most important thing to do is to flip this to active so that we're basically turning on the automatic trigger, right? That being if a record in a given table is updated, right? The given table being incident, and if the state of the incident changes to 2 or in progress, and the assigned to field is not empty, this agentic workflow will automatically kick off. Okay. One thing I want to point out is that every agentic workflow needs to run as a certain user. Okay, so that's what these two fields or selections are basically allowing us to choose. In this case, we are saying, please run this agentic workflow as if you were the assigned to person. So if agent A is assigned to this incident, this agentic workflow will run as agent A. Okay. The objective template is kind of related to the manual trigger. It's basically providing some guidance to the system in terms of what might a user say to manually trigger this agentic workflow. So if you remember just now, I said, help me resolve incident 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how it'll recognize that this agent can do that. Channel is where the agentic workflow can be interacted with. So as a user, are you going to interact with it with the analysis panel, or are you going to do it for the virtual agent, right? The analysis panel is really service desk facing, whereas virtual agent will be end user employee facing. In this case, we've designed it to be fulfiller service desk facing, so we'll leave that checked off here. And the show notification, let's leave that checked off. What that does is, hey, when this agentic workflow gets triggered and there's new activity, you'll actually get a little blue icon up here, a notification in the analysis panel telling you, hey, there's some new activity, right? You can come check it out. Okay? So just to recap, change a name, flip the active toggle, and we're going to click save. Okay. So once again, let's just confirm that's active. Awesome. And then now let's talk about select display. So where can you interact or discover this skill, right? If you wanted to manually trigger it. So that's where we're going to choose to manually trigger it, right? We want to be able to manually trigger this in the analysis panel. Very similar to some of the setup steps that Isaac just walked you through. I can also limit it to ITIL if I want, right? Let me dismiss this. And that's pretty much it, right? So we can click save and test. And you have just turned on your first agentic workflow. So can I get a quick thumbs up, thumbs down? Are people still following along okay? Do we need to take a pause, let some people catch up? Awesome. Okay. So we're not going to test it just yet. We're going to finish all the setup for everything we're going to teach you today, and we're going to test everything in one go. So let's go back to create and manage and turn on the second agentic workflow. So very similar process as we just talked about. Under create and manage, make sure you're on the agentic workflows tab. We're going to look for the triage and categorize agentic workflow. It might be on page 2. There it is. And once again, let's duplicate it. So very, very similar setup process. You have 3 tabs: describe and connect, define trigger, and select display. So change the name, just like we did before. 619 test, right? Let's take a look at the description. This agentic workflow enables fulfillers to identify the category, subcategory, configuration items, and also link to major incidents or known problems. Perfect. Same as before, we have 3 steps of instruction this time, and we also have 3 corresponding AI agents to handle each step of instruction. Okay. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time here. We can get into this a little bit more when we actually build our own AI agent. So let's click Save and Continue. The trigger, let's open it up first. First thing I want you to do is just rename the trigger. And we're going to flip this to active. And let me take a pause here because this AI agent or agentic workflow works a little bit differently from a lot of the other ones we shipped. The triage and categorize ITSM incidents agentic workflow is actually designed to be fully autonomous. So what that means is it's designed to not require any human oversight or input. Okay? That's how we ship it out of the box. We can, of course, change it if we want, but that's how we ship it out of the box. The reason being is that we actually want this to run before any human ever sees an incident record. I want this to run in the background. I want it to set the category, subcategory, CI fields, find related major incidents or problems so that by the time a human comes and takes a look at it, he already has all that information in his fingertips. Okay. So the trigger here is created, right? When a record on a given table is created, the given table being incident, whenever a new incident record is created and these conditions are met, short description is not empty, the state changes to in progress, or the state is new, and it's one of these 3 priority levels. You can change these if you want, depending on how and when you want this agent to run, but let's just turn it on out of the box for now. Okay. So the last bit that's different is that you'll notice when we are trying to define which user this AI agent is going to run on behalf of, it's a little bit more complicated now because nobody's actually been assigned the incident yet, right? We want this to run before any human ever touches an incident record. So we're going to have to do something slightly different, and we have a script to do that. So in line 8 of the script, you'll see this text: enter the sysid of an admin user. Okay. We can actually enter the sysid of an admin user or anybody really with an ITIL role. And what this does is this agent will run as whoever's sysid we input here. So for today's example, we're going to use whatever profile you're currently logged in as, and we're going to input that sysid here. Okay. So let me show you how to grab that really quickly. I'm going to move to a different tab. I'm logged in as the same user, and we're going to click profile. Okay. Once the profile page loads, we're going to right click the context menu and we'll click copy sysid. Let's go back to the AI Agent Studio and let's replace this text with the sysid. Please keep the quotation marks. Just put the sysid in between the quotation marks. Okay. That means that this AI agent is now going to run under the current profile that I am logged in as. Okay. We talked about objective template last time, so I'm going to skip that this time around. Channel is not really going to matter because, as I mentioned before, this is going to be fully autonomous. So nobody's really going to be interacting with this agent. So you can kind of just leave it as is. We're going to check, we're going to turn off show notification because once again, nobody's really going to be overseeing it. It's just going to go and do its thing in the background. So let's click save. Okay. All right, make sure it's active and let's move on to the last step, the analysis panel. So let's turn it on in the analysis panel. All right. Once again, this means that if I wanted to manually invoke this AI agent to set the category, subcategory, CI, I can do so through the analysis panel up here. Okay. I'm going to limit it to the ITIL role again, and then click save and test.
If you've been following along or would like to test this yourself, feel free to do so. So that's what we're going to do now. Everything that I activated under skills and everything that Brian added underneath the agentic workflow is now ready to be used. So as soon as you activate it, define your triggers, all that good stuff, it's live. So let's see all of this in action. I'll open up my service operations workspace to get there. And underneath the list view, we will go to all incidents. And we're going to create one from scratch. Let me get my incident information over here. Feel free to test this on an incident that you have, or you could do like I'm doing and start one from scratch. We'll go click on new incident. We're having problems with Zoom. It's funny because that's what we're on right now. Well, I'm going to give it a title, short description. Field. Here's my description. Right. I have a caller. Notice the little asterisk. So if you're starting this from scratch with a brand new incident, you will need to fill in any fields that have an asterisk. Okay. We're okay on asterisks. That's enough. So I've got caller description, short description. We'll go ahead and save this. And we are going to add an attachment. Brian, did you send that out into the? Yeah. I think we have the ability to add a screenshot into the Zoom chat. If that's the case, Brian, we could do so. But I do want to also showcase attachment summarization. So on the right side under attachments, let's go ahead and add our Zoom error code 200. Just to help create a little bit more robust of an incident, I am going to add some sample activity. So there is more information about this error and what makes it come up. So I'll save the attachment, save some sample activity. And now we've got a pretty decent incident to start with. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the incident summarization. So this field We did say it's available in the Now Assist panel and also in the Now Assist product. So let's summarize that. And our skills we activated are working. It tells us an issue and it gives us information about the attachment that was included as well. So that's really neat, making sure that any screenshots added don't get missed when the agent is looking through it. Now check this out here. Underneath the activity field, we've had somebody busy in the background, and that's those agents that Brian created. So we have the categorization of the incident. So it's network. The configuration item has been selected. So overall, the recommended incident category, subcategory, and configuration item fields were updated. So we thank you to our AI agent for that additional information. All right, let's go ahead and test this out further. And I'm going to open up my Now Assist panel and pin this out. Where's this one here? Okay.
Isaac, you gotta assign it to someone first. So click assign me, and then
That's
the
what's
AI agent
missing.
will run.
There
Yep.
we go. Let's unpin that then. Yep. All right. Assign me, and that's going to trigger Brian's other agent. There we go. All right. Verifying further information. Now Assist did link it to a problem, and the assignment field has been set to me.
Yeah, so click the analysis panel. We see that there's a new notification, right? Yep.
There we go.
And we can see that the investigate and resolve AI agent or agentic workflow has been triggered automatically, and it's now doing its thing. It's going to look through the catalog first, present some potential options, right?
So
The
yeah.
agent can look through it. And if it's not super helpful, we can say, hey, take a look at knowledge articles, take a look at past incidents, and see if we can find some more information about how to resolve this Zoom issue.
Okay. Yes. Now we're triggering the ITSM incident resolution investigation agent. Also from a UI standpoint, so what we're seeing right here, that's configurable. Do you want your end user to see what it's actively working on, or do you want it to kind of keep that information behind the scenes and just push the output out? So for the demo today, we kept up the visualizations for you to see what it's doing. Also track the activity column as well. So when any information like just now uh, gets added, it'll push over here into the activities of the incident. Okay. So the agent has added the following resolution plan to the incident's additional comments. does ask us if it addresses our concerns. Okay. So underneath activity, that information does show. So we can continue to work with the agent at this point. Did it address your concerns? We have steps now based on other knowledge articles, based on past incidents that the agent looked at all of these different tasks and came up with a game plan for the service desk. Verify the client version, check for patches and updates, check for, and then this one here, network settings being optimized for Zoom. Okay. So we'll fast forward, work with that resolution plan with the end user. And now I'm going to trigger the other skill we activated and we'll resolve and we'll see it's generating resolution notes. And that was that trigger. Do you want it to automatically create resolution notes for you, or do you want to be able to have your agents manually trigger that? We did go ahead and just allow it to push resolution notes into this. So we'll go ahead and say solution provided, the root cause, the resolution steps, that's been filled out. You can change anything you need to at this point. The Now Assist Sparkle is also available, so you can elaborate on this. You can shorten this. Without it automatically triggering, you would also use that Sparkle to be the prompt to generate the resolution notes. Okay. So I'll leave it as is, but well, actually maybe we'll just test it out. We'll go ahead and shorten it. Okay. Much more refined. Make any changes and insert. I like that view much better. So click the resolve button and underneath activity, that post will appear and the incident's resolved. So the point of this exercise was to show you that when you turn on a skill, when you turn on an AI agent, it's immediately available in the system for you to use. Okay. I think we've got, and Darius and Shabam, thank you so much for making sure we're going through those questions.
Let's talk about next steps. Okay, so hopefully you guys all got a head start today and are well on your way to implementing Now Assist. We will share this deck with you afterwards, and we will include key resources to help support you along the journey. We'll share things like implementation guides, our quick start guide on ServiceNow Community. We'll also share the on-demand training course to get certified to implement. And the second thing I want to talk to you about is, hey, if you want more help and support along the way, there are two ways to get that from ServiceNow. So one would be to reach out to your account team for additional help. Or if you'd like us to follow up with you on a one-on-one basis to provide support to you, please, please, please drop your email in the chat. We will take note of it and we will reach out to you after this webinar is over today. Okay. As a reminder, we are going to record this. We will share the recording with you, and we will make sure we get back to you if you drop us your email. So we only have a minute left, so I do want to open it up for Q&A. Are there any questions that are outstanding from any of you folks? If so, please feel free to drop them in the chat or the Q&A. And we will try and take them in the time remaining. Okay. So I do see one question around assist consumption and how many assist agentic workflows will consume. So agentic workflows will consume assists in a small, medium, or large bucket. Small is 25 assists, medium is 50 assists, and large is 150 assists. Each bucket is determined by how many actions or tools the agentic workflow calls upon. So if your agentic workflow has 4 tools, it will be qualified as a small, so it'll only require 25 assists. If you have 5 to 10 actions, it will consume a medium bucket, 50 assists, and anything over 10 actions will qualify as a large bucket, so 150 assists. I see a question from Carrie. Can you recommend a good course in ServiceNow University? Yes, in the content that we will share after the call, we will include a link to the on-demand training where you can get certified. It'll walk you through how to implement basically all the analysis skills, whether there's generative AI skills or AI agents. So please keep an eye out for the follow-up that we'll be sending up afterwards, and we'll have a lot more resources for you to go through. All
Just
right,
looking at
folks.
questions here.
We are at time, a little bit over time. So thank you very, very much for joining us today. We hope you found this useful. Um, yeah, drop us your email if you want us to get in touch with you. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you to Isaac, Darius, Shabam for being an awesome team today, supporting everyone. We hope all of you found this valuable.